Hello everyone, welcome back to Silent Hill 4. It is now time to explore the apartment world. I'm unsure of whether to cover just the apartment world in this video or to cover both that and the section that comes afterwards because it's a pretty short section, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Let's check everything in the apartment since we did not do that last time. Oh yeah. The guy is still pointing there, the mystery guy in the coat. He's still pointing at Eileen's apartment. Let's see if we have any visitors. Nope, just Frank staring creepily at the doorway. These shoes. I'm pretty sure I bought them in Silent Hill. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing to be buying shoes in Silent Hill. Those might not be shoes you want to bring back with you on your tourist adventure. The TV, the radio, the phone, the window, the door. What the hell is going on here? The clock is stopped. I wonder how much time has passed. I wonder if this bookshelf belonged to the person who lived before me. Probably Henry. I don't see Frank moving that bookshelf in there just for you. This is South Ashfield Heights. It's U-shaped so you can see what the person living across you is doing all the time. Now that I think of it, there was a movie like that a long time ago. I believe that was a Hitchcock movie, unless I'm mistaken. I've always meant to track it down and watch it, but I can't remember the title. I got this photo from Sunderland. He uses room 105 as the superintendent's room. And in case it wasn't very obvious before with the rowboat there on the top of the building, that is our Lakeview Hotel. It is. I visited Silent Hill lots of times when I was that age. So Henry wasn't random. He actually has a pretty strong connection to the town because he goes there all the time. Goes there constantly, lived there. Well, not really lived there, but he visited when he was a kid. So it's not just random. Henry is actually part of Silent Hill's atmosphere. He's not just a generic, boring, bland white guy. Oh, Eileen's dressed pretty well. Looks like she's going to a party. And of course, there's Robbie the rabbit staring at her like a creep. I know she'll feel hungry, but I don't feel a thing. Actually, he's staring down, but you know he probably wants to be staring at her. I'll probably lose the water soon, too. Yet it's a wonder it works at all. Wonder what the dimensional rules for that are. Like, is the other world basically leaving him the water, so it's like, oh, whoever's controlling all this, I know I need to use him, but at the same time, I don't want him to be stinking too much. I'll leave him some water so he can clean himself. Anything new in the bathroom? So I don't usually record late Saturday night / early Sunday nights. I did last week with was it Astrobot maybe? Because the movie / show they were watching was not to my interest. And today we're watching again movie called Oddity from Shudder, which I've learned to be kind of skeptical of and not really my interest. I'll check it out later. So it does mean we have some free time. Okay, so nothing so far. Keep an eye on this tank. We will need it later on. Yeah, so you're getting a bonus video because I normally don't record on this day, but since I have the time, we might as well. I want to get further into the game because it's almost October. Silent Hill 2 comes out on the 8th. I hope to have it installed by then. I probably won't play it day one unless I get it early. Maybe if Best Buy ships it to me like on the 6th, I might install it and play it. But yeah, I want to get it done because I have that. I have Alan Wake 2. Alone in the Dark, which we gotta start. We gotta start it again. We're only, what, like 5 hours into it? I wanted to do Metal Gear. I don't even know if I'm gonna have the time. Oh, this is a fun little thing. This is a callback to Silent Hill 3, which was in turn a callback to Silent Hill 2, where you grabbing something out of the toilet as James, and Heather was too disgusted and scared to do it, or grossed out to do it. But in the new preview for Silent Hill 2, we saw James get down and dirty with that toilet and just stick his whole arm in there and pull out the clock key. No, actually one of the hands for the clock once you open it. And his hand was covered in goo. That's the word I'll use, goo. It was just all brown and gray, and Jesus Christ, unless he poured like some type of health drink or something on his arm between that scene and something else, like he must have smelled really bad to Laura and Maria and Angela from the rest of the game. I don't know how any of them didn't say anything, because he must have smelled like shit. God damn. James is a disgusting, disgusting man. There's something in the toilet. Should I grab it? I'm not brave enough to do it. I'm not brave enough to do it. We can't even see. I bet you if they remake this game, we will see what's inside there. They'll show it to us if they ever remake it or remaster it. This hole, it doesn't look like a human made it. It's getting bigger and rounder. I think I've seen this pattern before. Will you go inside? Yeah, we've seen it before. It's the cult symbol. We also may have had some interesting news about Silent Hill 4, but I'll get to that in a minute. Once the introductory cutscene goes through. I did finish the regular stages of Astrobot. I was trying to upload it, but ran into some difficulties on YouTube because the video is so large. So I'm almost done with that game. I just have to platinum it, get the last few trophies. 303. There he is. Yeah, he doesn't look suspicious. He's really got his pants tucked in. I used to do that, but it didn't help because they still, for some reason, I always had trouble finding pants that were suitable in length and waist.
What the hell is this?
So either the waist would be good, but the legs would be a little too long, or the legs would be good. The seams for the legs would be good, but then the waist would be a little too tight. Just sometimes it's difficult finding clothes. Okay, so let's go check on our door. Oh, what's that? Oh, there you see a little boy banging on the door. What is he up to? Looks like he killed 2 dogs. It's locked. There's a scrap of red paper stuck under the door. This is the same way they show up under my door. So yeah, so that shows you how we get the red paper. Somebody comes here and sticks them under. You'll notice it's also this is the only little corner of the building that is not contaminated yet by this thing. Also, it's a bit let down by this aesthetic for the apartment building, because in before, in the other games, the other world was really pronounced. You could see and feel like the grime, and here it just seemed like they just kind of half-assed it and just like, oh, let's just stick red on the walls and see, you know, simulate the blood and flesh growing. It just does not look like the regular other world. But as we find out later, there is a reason for it. I still think it's an inferior aesthetic compared to the second and third games, or even the first game, but there is an actual logical reason for why it looks this way. It's locked. What was that guy doing here? Could he be the next victim? Or could it be... Yeah, just say it, Henry. Could it be the killer? Who else will be lurking around there suspiciously? So let's go read that note. And we're gonna run into someone here. Oh, we got a journal. There's a diary here. The last few months, Joseph, the guy next door to me who gave me that rare porn magazine, looks like he's been working super hard. He said if he found another rare one, he'd give it to me, but he hasn't shown his face around much lately. He said it was a journalist, and he is always investigating stuff, but I think something strange is going on with him. He's been shutting his apartment, and I can hear all these weird noises coming from there. July 1st, Mike. Oh, my beautiful Rachel, what's with the note on the red paper? I thought you'd written a note back to me, but I guess maybe it was somewhere else. He took it along with my clothes. Those were my best clothes. July 2nd, Mike. Put Mike's diary in your scrapbook. Wow, look at all these porno magazines. It's a red piece of paper with nothing written on it. Take the red paper, yes. I'll stick it under room 302's door. This guy, is it a super? He was much younger in this picture. It's too bad we can't see it. There's a key taped to the back of it. Too bad we can't see what it actually looks like. Got the superintendent's key. It says 105 on it. It's a photo of a nurse. It says I love you on it. There's a key taped to the back of it. Take the locker number 106 key. Another diary. No, that's a magazine lying open. Teaching Despair, Wish House. Oh, where have we seen this before? In Silent Hill 3. It was called Hope House over there. They changed it. They changed it because there was an actual organization called Hope House. I believe it was a charity. Not an orphanage, I think, but it was a charity, and they got kind of offended. Or either they got offended at being compared to it, or else the team didn't want to offend them. One of those two. But they basically changed it to Wish House. I don't mind it that much because you can actually imagine it, the same thing occurring in the actual Silent Hill universe, where the Order was using Hope House, and then because they're obviously a religious cult, they might have offended someone, and they changed it to Wish House. So it doesn't bother me too much. And then they just reprint the article. Wish House, an orphanage on the outskirts of Silent Hill, but behind this false image is a place where children are kidnapped and brainwashed. Wish House is managed by the Silent Hill Smile Support Society, a charity organization sometimes called 4S. It's true that 4S is a well-respected charity that takes in poor children without homes and raises them with hope. But at its heart is a heathen organization that teaches its own warped dogma in lieu of good religious values. That's a point of contention with a lot of people because we can't actually be sure there are good religious values. There are very few religions that actually preach peace and tolerance, do so mainly from like a human perspective. Wiccans, believe it or not, witches get a bad rap, but they're actually some of the more humane religions or religious followers out there. Buddhism, Shinto, etc. Like the few that actually teach good values, they teach values not because it's a religion, but because they're just stuff that people should do, compared to the religious dogma from like the big three. So that's already suspicious, but I'll give Joseph a pass. We know what he means. It's just not a good implication. Mr. Smith, temp, who lives near Wish House, had this to say. Sometimes at night I can hear their weird prayers and the sound of the children crying. I went there to complain one time, but they ran me out. Since then it hasn't changed a bit. In fact, this reporter was refused admission when he attempted to take photographs in the facility. What exactly do the folks at Wish House have to hide? During my investigations, I was able to discover, however, a suspicious-looking round concrete tower which appears to be part of the facility. Unfortunately, no one was willing to tell me what the tower was used for, but it seems unlikely that it has anything to do with the business of raising orphans. It may in fact be a prison or a secret place of worship. That makes me wonder how big the tower is in real life, because if it were huge, like the way Henry encountered, it seems like it would be, very impossible to miss. Like it seems like it would be something that outsiders would be stumbling into constantly, or that you can see from the ground. I mean, from the air, you can see it from airplanes. So I imagine the actual tower must have been smaller. That has to be some exaggeration on the part of whoever is creating these different worlds. The cult religion that operates Wish House is known by the locals simply as the Order. It is a religion that is deeply interwoven with Silent Hill's history, but its worshippers firmly believe that they are among the elite chosen people has a dark and dangerous side. I intend to continue my investigation of Wish House and the cult behind it. I've always believed that telling the whole truth and showing the children the true path is our most important duty. I wonder why he puts it in quotation marks like that, like he's quoting something else. Is he quoting what's that movie? Few Good Men? Tell me the whole truth. Is that what he's quoting? Joseph Scriber. Obviously, that's meant to be a pun on him being a scribe, a writer. What's interesting about the order, though, is you look at their early history. It was mainly a benevolent religion. It wasn't until in the game's lores, I mean the lore's universe, whatever. In the game lore, it wasn't until Christians started coming from overseas as immigrants and blending their religion with the religion in the town. That's when that's when it became kind of strange. And then it wasn't until Christians started persecuting them that they became extreme. So it's funny, as scary as they try to make the order look, and as barbaric as Claudia and Dahlia and other followers have proven to be in this series, technically speaking, the original religion actually wasn't bad. It was the people who came in and warped it with their own version of Christianity. Those were the ones who screwed everything up. And then when actual Christians started persecuting them, I'm guessing the order just became vengeful. You know, because if they kill one of your own saints who appears to have supernatural powers, and then they kill one of your doctors who also appears to have supernatural powers, and is using them to heal people, I imagine your religious group is going to get pretty pissed. Because now you have these freaking weirdos and savages coming from who knows where, ranting to you about God, and killing your people who are just trying to help out other people in the area. So from that perspective, I actually can't blame the order for becoming what they did, because they felt threatened, and I guess they felt they had to act. And so what do you do when you have a rival group like that persecuting your people? You basically take them out. And they took them out, alright, because they gained control of the town. Dahlia killed the police chief and the mayor. So yeah, and even though he wasn't strictly a part of it, Kaufman took over their tourism industry to sell drugs to the tourists. The same drug that they know has actual supernatural power here, so you can't really blame them. They struck back hard. Yeah, but at the same time they were being persecuted unjustly, so it's not an easy situation. You can call Claudia and Dahlia monsters, and they are, but you also have to look at what brought them there. And what brought them there was stupid religious fanatics not letting them live in peace. They're the ones who are ultimately responsible for all this bullshit. This is one of the weaker ghosts, however. You can actually down her pretty easily. The sad thing is she's actually a victim of the order herself. She was looking for her family, and she drowned. Or they drowned her, rather. I won't say who drowned her because that's a major spoiler, but yeah. She was looking for her family who she believed had been kidnapped. She believed her family had been kidnapped by the order and was being held prisoner. And she was searching for them when this mysterious person got them. But she barely causes any damage. And there is the famous butter cake and generic cookie box that appear in every Silent Hill. For a while they actually had the cult of butter cake in online communities. They made it a whole meme and a whole joke to worshipping butter cake. Because hey, it's as good as any other thing the order worships. But isn't it strange, you know, and it makes sense that an outsider Japanese perspective would hit on this note. Like, isn't it strange that the order is made out to be this monstrous organization worshipping actual demons and who knows what? Because who knows what else lives in there? Oh, we forgot to put the paper. We gotta go back and put it again. So first, let's check the door. Let's check the door, and we'll The hell? Let's check the door. We'll come back for it. Ooh, got a visitor. He knows we're staring at him. This guy was so creepy when they first showed off the previews for Silent Hill 4. We had no idea who he was. Why is he looking that way? Why is he stalking us? We had no idea. And when we find out who he is, oh boy. The implications that it has for the whole Silent Hill universe are pretty terrifying to some people. Ooh. Tank filled with oil. That's not what we're looking for, Henry. What the hell is this? The dryer sprayed blood all over the place. Now it must smell terrible.
And now the news. Yesterday, Wally the Walrus, a longtime resident of the Springfield Zoo, gave birth to a healthy baby walrus pup named Buttercup. Mother and child are doing just fine.
We heard that one already, didn't we? Wasn't Wally the Walrus one of the mascots for Lakeside Amusement Park? No balloon. The guy's gone, obviously, because he was just staring at us right here. Yeah, so that guy is suspicious to be sure. Eileen's lying down before her party. Looks like Eileen is okay. She's wearing her shoes in bed. I hate that she's wearing her shoes in bed. Or sandals, whatever those things are. I hate that you would actually put your shoes, especially after they've been wandering around this dusty building, on your actual bed. That bugs the hell out of me. Let's go put the paper back. Because there's another hole downstairs, so we can go down there. We can just get it later. But what I was saying, isn't it funny that the Order is made out to be this terrifying organization, and who was actually really responsible for what they did? Good old-fashioned Christianity. They were the ones that drove them up the wall and drove them insane and caused them to commit all those atrocities. If the Christians had just left them alone to live their lives, everybody would have been happy in the town. I mean, hell, if I were the god that the Order worships, I'd be pissed too, seeing my followers get treated like that. I demand retribution. Oh, here's this guy. Gonna say anything?
I got this from Miss Galvin. A long, long time ago. She was younger than me back then. She looked so happy, holding her mother's hand. Here, I'll give it to you.
Now, normally you should not pick up this doll because it will become a problem later on. But since I want to show off everything that the game can do, we are going to pick it up. Got the shabby doll. Old doll given by the man sitting on the apartment stairway. Yeah, normally you should avoid that doll, but...
so young then. So happy with life.
Can we just kill you here?
Just holding on to her mother's hand.
Nope. Yeah, that doll becomes an obstacle, if not a huge problem later on, but like I said, we want to see everything that the game has to offer. There's no point in going in any of these rooms just yet because we cannot open the doors to them. They're closed. You notice that mechanism. They've never really explained what it is, but I have a fair idea of what it is. Something near the end of the game, you'll see. Also looks like the person's killed a lot of dogs. So let's use the key we got from the locker. I love you, Rachel. Mike. It's filled with love letters from Mike to Rachel. If you recognize that name, it's because even though it's spelled differently, Rachel was Mary's nurse from Silent Hill 2. It was the nurse that he was taking care of her in the hospital. The one that James referenced in when he was asking about it, and Laura gave him the name of that nurse. We're not going to go in the hole just yet. I want to see if we can find some more red papers. You actually need to come here first because you need to get the keys for the rest of the building. Otherwise you're just going to wander around. See, there's a red paper right here. Just red paper with nothing written on it. So that's cool. It has nothing written on it, but then when you put it under the door, that's when you actually get letter on it. Hastily scribbled memo. Find my nurse Rachel. Return her to room 302 together with the part her boyfriend Mike tore off. There are keys for each apartment here. Take the apartment keys. Yes. Keys to each apartment in the building. Actually looks like 303 is missing. So this is the super's room. It's a red box. Man, this thing really stinks. It's practically bringing tears to my eyes. I like how calmly he says that. Other games might have put a few exclamation points on it just to emphasize how much. No, Henry's calm about everything. Got an old-fashioned computer. So we are clearly in the early 2000s here because he has not replaced that thing in a long time. Or has he? That's something I'll bring up also later on. It's a diary. The red box seems even stranger today. It's giving off a terrible smell. It's disgusting, but I just can't throw it away. Must have been around 30 years ago. That young couple was living in the apartment, but one day they just suddenly disappeared, ran off like thieves in the night. I don't know why. It must have been money troubles, or maybe they got themselves in some kind of danger. The problem came after that. They left their newborn baby when they took off. I even found the umbilical cord. I called the ambulance right away and I heard the baby survive, but I don't know what happened to him. Although a few years later, I often saw a young kid hanging around the apartment. One day he just stopped coming by, but now that I think of it, I'll bet he was that abandoned baby. It's a horrible story, abandoning a newborn baby. That all happened in room 302. On the umbilical cord I found there, where I still can't get myself to throw it away. So that's really disgusting and disturbing that he did that. But at the same time, we might actually owe him a debt, because without that umbilical cord, I'll put it this way, there might not be any way to end that nightmare. So maybe if not for Frank actually thinking on his feet and saving that cord, we might have been totally, completely screwed later on. And hell, the whole world might have actually been screwed. So Frank might have actually done the earth a favor by holding onto that cord, because it comes in pretty handy later on. I always like the design in this one. Looks like some type of psychedelic pattern. I'm guessing the people who lived here must have been like hippies. I also like it when you can explore like areas like this and it's not a linear path where you can just it's not open world, but you can explore at your leisure. That's always nice in games. It's a type of map we don't really get too much of in horror games nowadays. Now this is something right here, the phone, we'll get to in a minute. Let's grab the portable med kit. It's a nurse's uniform. The name of it says Rachel. Yeah, so that was emphasizing that it is Mary's nurse from Silent Hill 2. Wonder if we'll see her referenced in the remake. Probably, right? Now this phone, normally you would not want to activate this. It says my darling's number. And there are some numbers that look like a phone number. Will you press these numbers? No, not yet. Okay, we do have to go back to the hole. I'll tell you in a minute. We do have to go back. Because we need to get a very important item. Let's slip the red paper first under the door upstairs. And he's gone. Alright, let's put it here. Put the red paper in the door crack. Let's put it here. We're gonna store the doll. And we're gonna need this bastard right here. And we're gonna save in case this goes awry. In case this goes horribly wrong. We'll read those later. Now pressing this phone number is going to cause a reaction. Normally I advise you highly not to press this phone. But we're going to press it because I want you to see what happens. Starts ringing. Everything seems okay enough. And what do you have? Yep, this bastard right here. So the reason I've done this is because I actually want to pin this bastard right here. Because this is the most dangerous ghost in the entire... Motherfucker. The entire game. God damn. There we go. Got him. He takes a lot of damage to take down. A lot of damage. And you can see the hit window misses a lot. God damn. Hope we don't have to start all over again. Where is he? Oh, here he is. There we go. Trying to stay away from him. Gotta time it just right to hit him with that blow. There you go. Because that's a super powerful move. That's the one you want to use against him. You don't want to use bullets because it takes too many bullets. He's a bullet sponge. It takes like probably like 70 or 80 bullets to down him. You'll waste your whole inventory just trying to take him down. Just keep hitting with that move. Eventually he will go down. Then you can stomp on him. As long as you stay away from him, his aura should be fine. It shouldn't get you. Because the aura will cause damage to you. This is the same move that you'll need for the final boss, so I assume it does a lot of damage to him. Because that's what you actually want to use in killing the final boss. You want to use that particular move. This is the strongest move he has. Ooh, miss right there. Ooh. Come on, Henry. Face the direction. It's over here. Henry, what are you doing? Let him come to you. There we go. Make sure to keep your distance. Because you don't want to miss and then have him dig his hand into your chest and then you're screwed. It takes a lot of health, so... Remember, the axe has a lot of reach. The shovel might make quicker work of him, but it's too slow. It's too unreliable. It's better to use that one. And you can see it doesn't have to be super accurate either. You can hit him the side, the bottom, doesn't matter as long as it connects. Ooh, you missed right there. Don't worry about your health. We have the whole right side, so that's what it's there for. Henry, what are you doing, fool? Here we go. As long as you keep pounding on him, he will go down eventually. But like I said, this is the toughest ghost in the entire game. Not the most dangerous probably, but the second most dangerous and definitely the toughest in terms of damage. Yeah, this damn hillbilly ghost is quite a pain, quite a menace. He doesn't appear often, but when he does, it's trouble. It takes a lot to damage him, but it's worth it. God damn. So squirrely. He's back in a way that usually means he's taking a lot of damage. Dead? Yeah, he's dead. Now let's pin him. There we go. He's done. We definitely want to pin this bastard, because if you don't pin him, what'll happen is later on when we revisit Building World, he will appear, and he will appear in a corridor with in the middle of a corridor with like monkeys pursuing you and two other ghosts pursuing you, and it's just a mess to have him hitting you with that little spade he has. that he used to shovel animal waste. He was the pet owner of he was the owner of the pet shop in the building world. His name is Steve Garland. He's presumably related to Lisa, so I always thought of him as maybe being like Lisa's uncle or something like that. I don't think it's her father. They would have given us more information if that's the case. But I do think it might have been like her uncle or something, who owned the pet shop there in South Ashfield. But yeah, that spade does mega damage, and then imagine trying to fight off 3 other monkeys. And maybe like one of them has a golf club, and another ghost, and this guy at the same time. It's just impossible, so... I always like to say the sword just to pin him here. You'll get 5 swords in the game. 3 of the boss ghosts that you'll fight later on, you have to pin. Mandatory. And then you have 1 spare one near the end that you can use whatever you want. It's not really relevant at that point. And you have 1 extra sword here. The one we got behind the elevator. So I always figured it's better to use it against this guy because that way we eliminated him. We eliminated a huge portion of his danger. Because now he won't appear in the building world. When you pin them here, they stay here. So they won't show up anywhere else in the game, and you're basically free of him. And now you're free to explore the rest of the apartment building. He won't harass you anymore, and he's pretty much the only ghost besides the old lady. So you don't have to worry about them anymore. There are lots of records and music magazines on the shelves. There's only a few dogs in one of the other apartment building hallways. So you've taken care of a huge amount of danger just by pinning him there. Because he will harass you all throughout the whole freaking building. And the nasty thing is that they know first time players are going to answer that phone. I mean, they're going to dial that phone. So there's no way for you to anticipate it playing this game for the first time that thing is going to show up. So it's a huge nasty trap at the developers that you can easily eliminate just by pinning him there. And do it while you have the health. It's a big speaker. Because later on, once you can't regenerate health in the room, it becomes very, very difficult to handle those ghosts. It's a turntable. I've never actually had one in real life. I've seen them obviously in old thrift stores and stuff like that. Maybe a relative or two used to have one, but I never actually had one myself in real life. It's a lot of garbage. Yeah, so he will stay here permanently for the rest of the game, and when you come back to this place later on, he will be gone. Because it changes the slightest bit. So, so long, Steve Garland. It's been a blast. I feel bad pinning him like that if he is Lisa's uncle, but he brought it on himself. Now, there are dogs in that hallway, so you don't want to mess with it. Go back to the room and get your health. Also, store the first aid kit. You'll need it later on. I see they finished with the movie. Oddity. Wonder what it even was. It was reminding me a bit of a Cronenberg movie. I'm going to have to watch that later on my own. Because movies like that are not really meant for like group watching. They're quieter sorts of horror films. So I'll watch it later on my own. Yeah, you want to store this. Because it's going to come in handy later on. You want to store as much health as possible. And I will be right back. I'm gotta adjust something, so I'll be right back. But first I'm gonna save. Alright, return from apartment world. I'll be right back. You won't even notice. I'll edit it so it's just a couple seconds. And we're back. They're actually watching Masters of Horror, so I took a little break. I always take any opportunity to watch that series, so took a little break to watch that. They're watching the Don Coscarelli episode, Incident on and Off Mountain Road. Probably not the best episode in the series, but definitely one of the highlights. It's been a while since I watched it. I think it's been like 5 years since I watched that thing. Even though I check out this series from time to time. I own most of the DVDs. But we're back, because now they're on to the second movie, Cuckoo? Something that came out in theaters. I have no idea what it is. Should I read these notes now or should I wait? Let's see. Let's read them now. I picked up the key that Eileen from room 303 must have dropped. I thought I'd return it, but she wasn't home. I guess I'll give it to the super. May 20. It was 4 years ago that they discovered the body with 12/21 carved into it. Right away, I had this terrible feeling and couldn't stop shaking. The victim had been murdered 6 months earlier, while Walter had been dead for 7 years, having committed suicide 3 years before the murder. The police think it's a copycat crime and are calling it the Sullivan case round 2, but something about it bothered me. May 14th. I always get that time frame mixed up. So like it's so I said Walter had been dead for 7 years, but he committed a murder 3 years before. I always get that one mixed up. I think it's just the wording. I don't quite know exactly when he actually committed the murder. I lost the key to Eileen Galvin's room. I gotta find it and bring it back. Let me think. The last place I saw it was... It's ripped here and I can't read the rest. I know the last place it is, but you actually have to get the note. Otherwise you can't see it. One of those little gameplay cheats they do where they don't let you advance unless you follow the proper procedure. It's like in what is this? In Resident Evil or some other games where unless you follow the exact procedure, the code won't work even if you know what it is. It's not like Silent Hill 3 where you can just enter all the codes and it doesn't matter if you solve the puzzle or not. You have to follow a certain rule here. I figured out the riddle behind the number. 01121 is actually 01/21. In other words, 1 out of 21. So Walter was planning on killing 21 people, but he never finished the job. He was convicted for murders of Billy and Miriam LeCain, the 7th and 8th victims. Afterwards, he committed suicide in his jail cell. This grisly mass murder of 10 people shocked the world and came to be known as the Walter Sullivan case. There are two big puzzles here. The first is, what was the motive for the murder? The second is, why did he kill himself before completing his task? Was he simply insane? May 2nd. Or May 2. Boy, they'd be shocked that today's world where 10 isn't even a notable figure. You gotta do like 20 or 30 murders to even get on the news. They'd be shocked nowadays. Walter's crime spree seems like a jolly old romp in comparison. Alright, let's put away the first aid kit. I think we're good. I don't think we need anything else, so we're gonna go back to the room. Back to the apartment building. So now we know who the killer at the center of the mystery is. It's Walter Sullivan. First thing is, what is he actually doing besides the murders and what does he want? We will soon find out. The door's shut tight, it won't open at all, so we can't leave. That phone will keep ringing until you answer it in the other apartment. As you can see, it's actually not worth the effort unless you're trying to specifically trap that one ghost. Steve Garland. Room 104. Oh, that means there's bugs in here. Oh, these guys are annoying. The hawk bats. Or actually called Hummers, right? I think they're called Hummers. Because even though they're hawk bats, I think they're actually vulnerable to insect spray. So normally if we hadn't pinned down Steve, he'd actually be pursuing you all throughout this whole section. The coreless fluorescent is giving off an eerie glow. That's nice that they put little details like that in there that they didn't have to. Because a lot of times in Resident Evil games and even like the later Silent Hill games, you can't examine things at all. It's just not, they just don't comment on it. We got slugs. There's more slugs. Look at them. It's like 10 of them. Now they will respawn once you enter the room, which for first time players is actually a little hint that you should examine this refrigerator here. It smells terrible. Open it up. Yep. It's wrapped up in these torn bloody jeans. It's the body of a dead cat. There's a torn red paper in one of the pockets. Grab it, Henry. The furniture seems to be covered with some kind of animal hair. It's a monogun. It's totally useless as a weapon. Yeah, Steve would be in here too if you didn't pin him down earlier. You'd be right in here, which makes getting this item a complete pain. See, I believe there's supposed to be an insecticide here, but it's not showing up for some reason. Yeah, it's supposed to be right here. Unless we're missing it. Yeah, I wonder where it is. It's a paper target from shooting range. All the guns here are just models. Yeah, too bad we could use a shotgun, right? Nothing but books about guns, but one of these magazines has something written on the back cover. My eyes are skinned are so itchy, the stupid cat next door made my allergy go crazy. I was so pissed off, I took my converted monogun and blasted away at the thing. At point blank rage, it was way cool, the thing just dropped like a stone. By the way, that revolver that Richard in 207 carries is the real thing. That guy's dangerous. So spoken from one sociopath to another, because that guy just killed a cat because of his allergies. So he's a scumbag and he's calling Richard dangerous. They're both dangerous. They're both assholes. Both of them. Yeah, I thought the can is usually in here, but apparently it's not. No idea where it is. So now that we explored that section, it's time to go to the opposite end. No, I believe we covered the opposite end of this floor. Gotta go to, yeah, we gotta go to the second floor. That's where we gotta go to. And that phone ringing can get annoying. That's also the other reason not to push the buttons, because it gets hella annoying listening to that. It just won't stop ringing. It's a phantom ringing phone. You don't know where it is in the apartment building. It's cassette tape. The label says skin mic. I could listen to it on the stereo in my room. Take the cassette tape? Yes. That cassette tape actually spawned old fanfic I read once. I'll tell you about it in a bit. There are a lot of old video game machines lying around. This stuff would be worthwhile today. It would be worth a lot of money. There are books about computers and electronics. There are a lot of old game machines and other devices that I have no idea about. It's a barbell. Can we use it as a weapon? Nothing. Zero in this room. Got dogs. You want to come to this area first before heading upstairs, because you'll see a cool little feature. It looks like a kid's graffiti. The writing is so jammed together it makes me feel sick. Yeah, that's a lot of Crayola writing jammed together with crayons. There are a lot of kids' toys around. It's a baby bed. Yeah, that one caught me by surprise. Still can't get over how they sound like jaguars. I thought he was in here. I wonder where Walter decided they should sound like jaguars. Where did he hear that noise? Was it a literal 70s sound effect tape that he listened to in some store and it just stuck in his mind? Oh, we got the dangerous ones. Shit. God damn. There we go. Come on, you fools. Got him, 2 for 1. Yeah, you're no match for the axe, fools. That axe is gonna make you your bitch. Look at that. It's Walter. And he disappears. I can see Eileen Galvin from here. I'm pretty sure that's room 303. What's she doing in this world? You see how it's all decayed outside? So it shows these aren't just environments existing on their own. They're all connected. This is the gun Richard was using. Take Richard's revolver? Yes. Holds a maximum of 6 bullets, easy to use with moderate stopping power. There's men's bloody underwear on a torn shirt sleeve in the garbage. You want to save that gun until the very end, almost for one good reason. You will see later on. It's a golf club, looks like a putter. Take the putter? Yes. This is a nice looking apartment. Not sure about the red brick decoration, but it does look pretty decent. There's the magic electric chair. Okay, we did this one already. Yeah, we're done with this side of the floor. Nothing here. But if you come into this section later on, there is a death trap there. There will be an enemy you can see through this window that will start shooting you. This much later in the game. Oh shit, there is another ghost here. But it's Jimmy Stone. It's the second weakest ghost in the game, so you don't have to worry too much about him. There are empty bottles all over the floor too. So this guy was an alcoholic. Torn red paper in the pocket. It's torn a bloodstained shirt. So you know what that is. We gotta put that in the... We're gonna put it under the door. Oh, there's the old lady. I believe her name is Sharon. I don't remember what her last name is. Finally, we can switch this damn thing off. Pick it up. There's no one there. Of course there isn't. Oh, this is the painting room. We gotta come back to this one, but first we're gonna go put the two papers in the under the door. I'm also gonna save again. It's better to put them there now than actually you know, like save all 6 papers and put them under the door at the same time, because that's a lot of reading. So we're gonna put 2 of them right now, then we're gonna go save so we can read what's on them, because we're starting to approach the end of the apartment building. So oh boy, what's going on there? Sounds like trouble. It's locked. I think Eileen Galvin's on the other side of this door. Yeah, of course she is. We know that already, Henry. We know that. Oh yeah, let's not forget to put the papers under here. But this one, we're gonna go read them. Oh, we also gotta store the tape too, because we're gonna run out of space. So we're gonna store the tape and the revolver, the extra bullets. Get out of my way, old lady. Or that might have been Jimmy Stone, I'm not sure. For the record, Jimmy Stone is actually a cult member. And his nickname happens to be the Red Devil, so that rings a familiar bell for Silent Hill 2. Remember how we thought Pyramid Head? Some of us, our very first time when we saw him, because he was red, we thought the Walter article was referring to him. No, it was actually referring to this guy. That was just a red herring. No pun intended to confuse you. But it was actually referring to this guy. It'll be easy to dismiss it, but at the same time, who knows how much of this backstory they had written, so I can buy it that it actually wasn't referring to Pyramid Head, it was referring to this cult member, who then got killed under mysterious circumstances. Store this, and store this for now. Because we don't need any of that stuff. Let's save again, just to be sure. Alright, let's resume with the mission. But first we're gonna check out those 2 papers we just slipped under the door. Oh yeah, I had a really wicked headache that day and just collapsed on the bed. Maybe if I look near the bed in room 302's bedroom, I'll find it. I get headaches every day now, it's terrible. What am I gonna do? May 22nd. So we know where the key is now. but we don't want to get it just yet because we still got a lot of work to do. Still got other rooms to check out. So until we check out all the apartment buildings, we can't go there yet because the minute you open that door, it's over. You proceed on to the next section of the game. So you got to make sure to examine everything that you're going to get from the apartment building before you enter that doorway. So bloody is hard to read. Rachel, love you. Always watching window, protect you. If love. Mike. We cannot see anything in the apartment building. So we know it's near the bed, but like I said, we're not going to search it just yet because we still got more stuff to do. We gotta go check out those paintings we saw. And hopefully going through the hole will actually have lured him out. As far as that ghost we were running from, so that he doesn't interfere. And I almost look for a moment like there were actually handprints in there on the door. Can't really see it clearly, but it almost looks like a four-fingered hand around this spot right here where Henry's staring at. So one thing I mentioned earlier, there's a rumor going on that the next project from Konami might involve Silent Hill 4, because apparently they set up some type of website referencing Silent Hill 4 and Walter Sullivan and his murders and a whole bunch of stuff. That is probably not for no reason. They wouldn't just set up that for no reason. Obviously they haven't confirmed anything because none of the games have yet to release. Silent Hill 2 comes out October 8th. Townfall and Silent Hill F don't even have release dates yet. We don't even know what they are. But it's possible that the next one might be a remake of Silent Hill 4. They said it's also maybe a sequel, but it can't really be a sequel to The Room because Harry, just whack this man. Just whack him. There you go. Oh shit. I don't think they can come into the apartment room. Let's see. Can they? Nope. They cannot. Good. Yeah, a sequel wouldn't make sense because without giving away any spoilers, the way this game ends, no matter which one of the endings you pick, there is no possible room for a sequel. So I don't think it'll be a sequel to The Room, but there might be a remake or a remaster. Probably a remaster more than an overall remake because there's not too much demand for a remake for Silent Hill 4, even among Silent Hill fans. And also the remaster will let them fix some of the issues with this game that some of the jankiness that fans didn't really appreciate. I'd buy it. I know some people say, oh, we're tired of remasters and remakes. They should all go away. We should just be focusing on new games. That's true to an extent. I buy that argument, but at the same time, when it's a game like this where one, it's not easily available. Two, the versions that are available on PC are basically glitched to hell. And three, there's a lot of rough jankiness that could actually be solved with a quick remaster of it. I would approve of it in this scenario. Because like I said, I really do like this game, but the problem is I'm trying to play now on the PS4. On the PS2, it looks horrible without an HD converter. You need an HDMI converter basically to convert the signal for component cables into a much more usable signal on the TV, and it just looks ghastly. A retro tank, that machine called a retro tank will probably fix that, but the problem is that machine is almost $200. I think it retails for like $196 or something like that. So you gotta spend $196 to be able to play this game. And other games like Soul Reaver 2, Silent Hill Origins, the Mortal Kombat game, Shaolin Monks, etc. You gotta spend $200 to play these games on HDTV and have them look decent, if not good. And none of them are available online on the PSN store for purchase. So yeah, they're basically inaccessible unless you have a PC. And the PC versions of Origins and 4 are, but they're basically garbage. So this is one of the very rare cases where we actually do need a remaster of this, because this needs to be on modern consoles, and it needs to be, one, it needs to look good. It needs to look good, and two, people need to be able to access it easily. You know, you can't access the game right now. That's the problem. You have to go back and play it on a PS2, and the game is like $150 at this point. So it's just a huge mess. It's painting of a young man. The memo says 107. He listens to great music, but I feel sorry for him having to live under the Braintree. So these are paintings of all the tenants in the room. I mean, in the apartment building, which is actually a pretty neat little detail. I wish other games would use stuff like this. You know, like showing you more about the people who inhabit the game world. It's a painting of 2 adults and a lot of children. The memo says 206. How can they even sleep? How can they even sleep with so many noisy kids? Besides that, they have to live next to Braintree. It's a painting of a man holding a brush. The memo says 202, self-portrait. It's a painting of a nurse. On the memo it says 106. My beautiful darling, lately she's been bothered by a stalker. This one's incomplete. I wonder what it was. It's a painting of a plump woman. That's a word I don't hear used too often, plump. Memo says 204. She's always eating something, but I wish my girlfriend liked to cook like her. She's a nurse, man. She's too busy to cook. It's all ramen noodles and macaroni for her. A painting of an old couple. The memo says 304. Nice, sweet old couple. It's a painting of a woman holding a cat. The memo says 102. She loves cats too much and missed her chance to get married. I kind of felt sorry for her while she was mourning for one of her dead cats. Yeah, because that sociopath in the other room killed it. The gun fanatic. Was he here? No, I don't think he's here. It's a painting of a man drinking alcohol. The memo says 203. He's so noisy. I wish he would stop all that drinking and fighting. This must be Richard Braintree. What a last name, huh? Braintree. Where's that even from? Did they just make that up completely? Memo says 207. Braintree, that prick. He's always yelling at kids, especially that weird one that hangs around. But he took Mike into his apartment and peeled his skin off, so he's my hero. I apologize if my voice is starting to go a little. I'm starting to feel the effects of some allergies stirring up. Took some medicine for it, but it's not always effective. It's a painting of a man with a gun. The memo says 102. A gun maniac, he's always coughing from his cat allergy. Why did the landlord not fire that man? I mean, why did he not evict him? I'm guessing because he was afraid he would come back and shoot everyone, like people do nowadays. It's a painting of a man holding a porno magazine. The memo says 301. That perverted stalker, he got what he deserved. So that peeled his skin off thing is what inspired a fanfic I read once by someone who was actually how should I put this, in a somewhat romantic relationship with me very long time ago. She wrote this fic, and because the thing is, the way Walter heard this, he thought that the man had literally peeled off Mike's skin, which is why the underwear and the pants and all that stuff are all bloody, because he thought he literally peeled his skin off. That's why it says skin Mike. But it was metaphorical skinning. Richard just beat him up. He didn't actually skin him, like take his skin off Hellraiser style. That's not what he did. But Walter, being young, misinterpreted that. You saw this one? The guy with the cat allergy. Also, you gotta admire this artist to an extent, having the balls to actually pay the stalker that's stalking your girlfriend. I don't know if I would actually go ahead and do that. That doesn't seem ideal. It seems like that might be one picture you might want to leave off. This is me, the superintendent. Memo says 105, Sunderland, the superintendent. The super mistakenly thought that Mike was Rachel's lover. It must be the guy who plays video games. The memo says 205. He's always shut in his room. It looks like he has lots of weird interests. I heard he tape recorded Mike getting beaten up by Richard. See, he tells you he just got beaten up, but the child hanging around the apartment building thought he'd actually been skinned. Yeah, so she wrote that fanfic showing all the details around what Richard did to Mike, because you can actually hear it clearly on the videotape that Henry picked up. So you kind of have a fair idea of what's going on. You get actually a really clear picture, and she just translated that into a fanfic. Boy, she was a weird person. I'm not talking because of that. I write fanfic, so I have no room to speak of that. I mean, in other areas, boy, she was a weird person. I miss her occasionally, but then most of the time, other times it's like, screw that B word. I won't say it, but screw her. I believe there's one more in this hallway. Other way, old lady. You see there she is about to do that move where they reach into your chest. God damn, we got Hummers. The writing is all blurry, I can't read it. I believe there's health in here. God damn. Get out of the way. There's nothing in here except trouble. It ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. So one neat thing about those portraits is that looking at them, you think these are the current occupants of the apartment building, and no, they're actually the past occupants of the apartment building. They're not the people who live there now, for the most part. I believe. Some of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them, I believe, are just people who lived there back when that kid who was hanging around was constantly checking the apartment building. They were the people he saw back then, but they're not actually the current residents of the apartment building in some cases. Probably in many cases. We're almost done. But I might have to Google where that spray can is, because that comes in really handy against the flying insects. More ammo. Man, I hate having allergies. They just came on all of a sudden. Normally I'd probably save, but we're only, what, like 10 minutes away from the next section, so it's best just to continue. But I'm definitely gonna look up where that spray can is. Oh, look at that, the dog statues from Silent Hill 3, from the antique shop, or the decoration shop, whatever that thing is called. Home decorating store in the office building. Those two dogs are actually on the cover of the Silent Hill 3 Art Guide, which is a book I always wanted to get and I was never able to get, and it's probably $100 now, so that thing's probably too expensive to afford at this point. But I always wanted the book. Art books like that are actually pretty neat concepts, showing off the art of the game. Alright, let's see almighty Google Where is that damn spray can? Silent Hill 4 spray can. Bug spray. Here we go. I want to see where it is. Where is that damn bug spray? During either visit to the apartment world. Lying on the ground inside room 203. Oh, and nice. This shows a little video of actually Henry spraying Cynthia with the bug spray. Get it? Because she's bugging him. That's mean. I'd spray Walter, but not Cynthia. Come on, man. How are you gonna spray Cynthia with bug spray? And she's in her special outfit too. Come on. She's in her quote-unquote hooker outfit. How are you gonna spray her with aerosol spray for bugs? Come on. Cut Cynthia some slack. So it says it has a very limited range and is ineffective against most enemies with the exception of the insect-like Hummer creatures that commonly attack Henry throughout the game. That's why it's called bug spray. It only works against them. It says it's on the ground. Oh, is this it? Right here? There it is, right there. It's a can of bug spray. Take the bug spray, yes. Aerosol insecticide, effective against certain enemies. Back off, Stone. Let's use it against him. He's bugging us. Okay, that's enough foolishness. Alright, we got the bug spray, so we no longer have to concern ourselves with that. Yeah, we did every single apartment, so now we gotta go back and get the key. Let's get it from the hole over here so we can come back on Actually, should we get it down here or should we go back upstairs? Now let's go back upstairs. It's a shorter distance to cross. So yeah, I'd love to see a remaster of this game, just to make it more accessible and, you know, have it actually work as intended without some of the janky flaws that are present not only in this version but in the PC version, which is a complete mess. I told you before in the very first video that I tried to run that thing on the laptop, the gaming laptop that I have, and it was just a big mess. The controls wouldn't work, it was a mess installing it, you gotta mess with the settings and do a whole bunch of crap. It was just way too much trouble. It was just way too much trouble for the effort. Just to have the game look slightly better than it does on PS2. It's just not worth the effort. And I wasn't gonna pay $10 again to get the GOG version. I believe that's the one that they have, the GOG version. I was not gonna pay them $10 more, so I just decided to dig out the old PS2 and play it on the original console where it debuted. But I wouldn't mind seeing it restored, especially with the game engines that they have now, where they can just rebuild it from scratch and hopefully take care of the flaws. Maybe even add a couple things, because you'll see later on the repetitive nature of these worlds when you revisit them later on is a huge problem in the game. The fact that there's almost nothing new and they look exactly the same, it goes against every other Silent Hill game that's ever been made, but unfortunately it also brings the game down a notch, because you're just seeing the same things all over and over again with minimal change. Alright, let's go get that key and finish off this scenario. This is by far the longest section of the game, the apartment world. It is by far the longest section of the game. There you go, there's the key. If you try to come here without that note, you actually see nothing there. You have to read the note in order to see it. It's almost like in Control, where you have to read the memos, or not Control, Alan Wake. You have to read the memos in order to actually see stuff happen. You have to read the memos and solve the nursery rhymes. It's kind of like this. If you don't read that memo, the key will not appear, no matter what you do. Key with a girl's doll keychain attached. 303 is engraved on it. Alright. Let's go, Henry. We got everything we need. They really should have given you more than just 5 swords. They should have given you like 6 or 7. So you could have a spare couple swords. Especially since you don't find the last one until the very end of the game. Where it's almost useless. Like the only ghost left is Jimmy Stone and he barely does any damage. So they really should have given you more swords beforehand so you could actually use them. You know, instead of just having to save them for the bosses. Because they say they're the most important item in the game. But at the same time you can only use them on the bosses. So you really only have one sword to spare. The one that we stuck in Steve Garland. So it's kind of a design flaw there. Not a choice that the developers should have made, and one that they probably wouldn't make again if they had to do this game all over again. Alright, that's it for this video. No, I'm kidding. We gotta go save Eileen. We can't just leave her here. We gotta go save Eileen. Save the girl that we've been spying on for like a whole full day. You use the doll key. $20121. Those are some deeply carved numbers there.
Hey, kid. Thanks. Did you find your mommy? This place? It's dangerous. You need to hurry. Get out of here.
What did he beat her with? Because she's all bloody. It couldn't have been just his fist. Because she's actually cut. I know he carves the numbers, but what else did he do to her? I like how Henry's just standing there watching blandly, not doing anything, and now all of a sudden he's broken up. Like, dude, you couldn't even go up to her and reassure her that you were there, that the guy who'd been attacking her was gone. Just standing there like a freaking dumbass. Jesus Christ, Henry. What the hell's wrong with you? So broken up, and it's like he showed barely any emotion until this point. Why are you so freaking broken up over Eileen all of a sudden? I know the player's gotten attached to her, but you show no sign of having gotten attached to her. And you're just all broken up all of a sudden. Because you were late to stop whatever that was. You were late to stop the attack. But it's like you didn't have much urgency before. That's part of what gets me about Henry. Just so nonchalant he is in a bad way. I'd almost wonder if they were to remake the character today, if they would imply that he's maybe, I don't know. And I don't mean this as an insult, but imply that maybe he's like autistic, or maybe suffering from Asperger's syndrome, maybe, you know, something that impedes his sociability, which I would not mind at all, because I'm a fan of quite a few characters like that, so I don't mind that at all. But I mean, I wonder if they would imply in today's environment that he's more than just shy and withdrawn, that he actually is suffering from some type of syndrome or something like that that impedes his social ability. Because I know sure as hell I may not suffer from those, but I've got a couple of issues on my own, so, and I've always had them, so I appreciate what they tried to do with Henry to put you in his shoes, but the problem is they took it too far. It's like Isaac in the first Dead Space, where because he doesn't speak, and he barely shows any emotion except for like one cutscene at the end, and I guess just the grunts that he makes when he gets injured or surprised by weird shit throughout the game, but because he has no personality, he's not memorable at all. You're meant to be filling his shoes, but it just comes across as bland. It takes what easily would have been a 9.5 out of 10 game. It just pushes it back down to like an 8 because he has no personality whatsoever at all. And it's something that always bugged me about the first Dead Space, and I'm glad they fixed it in the remake and that he actually has a voice now. Because Henry is just too damn bland, even in comparison to Isaac. Eileen. At least she's not dead, Henry. At least she's still somewhat alive. You weren't completely late. Look at those two guys running. Did he steal the one guy's wallet or something? No one is in their room, so I'm guessing they were all in the lobby or something. Oh, was there someone up there? Oh, there they are. Now they're back. They weren't there before. I guess they were just staring at the ambulance like everyone else, like Henry. Got the paper and we got a new card. I believe this is the end of the radio. From now on, we're not going to get any new radio messages. Let's peek in here to get an unpleasant surprise.
So they took the victim to St. Jerome.
There we go. He's pointing at us.
Not gonna make it.
Like
She
you're the
had
one who
numbers
did it.
in her back too. Walter Sullivan copycat. Round 3, huh?
Well, they never got the scumbag behind round 2 a few years back. Maybe it's the same guy.
Oh, what if 1, 2, and 3? Oh, what if they're all the same guy?
What the hell are you talking about? You know Sullivan killed himself. The weird thing is, there were no clues. Crime scenes were always spotless. No fingerprints, no fibers, nothing. Just the numbers 20121. I've been a cop for a long time, but I never seen a case like this one. It's almost like they were killed by a ghost or something.
Yeah, Robbie knows. Robbie is like, it was you all along. So close and yet so far. That one guy's almost got it, but his partner has to be skeptical. I also hate how stereotypical cop that second guy sounds. Like the worst stereotyped cop in like New York films and movies. Like that's a guy Larry Cohen would have stuck in one of his movies because he's so stereotyped. I hate that though when in movies and shows and even games when the police are actually close to solving it. They're right there, but because of their natural skepticism about the supernatural, they just can't quite make the connection, even though it's right in their hands almost. It's at the tip of their fingertips. I don't mind it as much here because Walter is the way he's doing things. It will be very difficult for them to even prove or even understand how he's doing the stuff he's doing. But at the same time, like I said, I hate that in cop shows and TV shows and movies and video games when like the police refuse to accept what is blatantly obvious. Like in Friday the 13th, where they always refuse to accept that Jason is actually out there killing people, and it's like you have a history of a hockey mask wearing man showing up and taking dozens of gunfire rounds and not being able to be killed. Obviously there's something supernatural lurking in the lake, you idiots. Of course the video game went for the explanation that they actually know Jason is a real thing and they just cover him up because they don't want to interfere with Crystal Lake tourism, or Forest Green as they call it now. They don't want to interfere with that. They don't want people afraid to be visiting their town or living there, so they just cover it up. But yeah, it just makes it look stupid, you know. Oh, we don't believe a walking corpse gonna be going around killing people. Like, how do you explain a man taking 20 shots from a gun and still being able to kill people with no body armor, no ballistic helmet, nothing? He just walks right into you know firearm rounds and isn't even phased. Obviously, he's not a man. He's not something human. You have to accept it at some point. I'm trying to think, what's the what's the most competent police we've ever seen in a horror movie? I guess maybe the ones from the Wreck films. You know, the Wreck movies from Spain and their American counterpart Quarantine. I guess those would be considered competent because they actually, after a while, yes, acknowledge that something weird is going on. The government is also trying to cover up, so I guess they would count, right? Because after a while, they do acknowledge what's actually going on. I also guess the Halloween one, right? Because like in Halloween 4 and then even later in the reboots, like the police do actually know how dangerous Michael Myers is. And in Halloween 4, I always thought that the police killed him at the end, but no, I believe it was the sheriff and his deputy and a whole bunch of hillbillies who got together in a truck full of beer and bullets and went after Michael, and they just all shot him up in the cemetery. Yeah, it was the cemetery, right? And he fell into a mine shaft. And they just kept shooting, so like they obviously understood that he was not a regular man. They understood that he was something that needed probably like 50 bullets to kill, so I guess that's one example of the cops being, competent at their job. They actually listen and realize, hey, this is not a regular man under that mask. It's something else. We have to shoot with every bullet we have. So yeah, they're one example. What else has? It's not supernatural, but the John Saxon character in Black Christmas, that cop was actually pretty competent. It was his partner or his underling that was pretty stupid and messed everything up for everyone, even at the end, but he was competent. I guess Nancy's father from Nightmare on Elm Street, because even though he doesn't believe at first, once he realizes it's true, he actually knows what he did to Krueger and what he and the other parents did to Krueger, and he kind of knows in a roundabout way. He just doesn't want to accept it because it's too horrible. That this killer that they got rid of years ago is back for vengeance and is taking vengeance against their kids instead of them. So yeah, there are actually a few competent cops around. They're not all screwballs, but it does annoy me when you have the cop that refuses to believe the aliens or supernatural or whatever. That clown movie did that too, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It did the same trope with one cop refusing to believe until the very end and the other one going along with it and realizing, hey, that girl's right, there are killer clowns here. Oh, and the Blob. The Blob was especially it was intentionally frustrating because you were meant to be frustrated with the deputy and the police chief or the police captain, whatever, the sheriff, until the end when they saw the Blob for themselves, and that's when they realized, oh, this is actually a serious situation. So there are a few, but most of them in the horror and action genre tend to be pretty incompetent. Even in action-heavy films, sometimes the police are still very incompetent, like real life. The clock has stopped. How much time has passed since this room started going crazy and the hole appeared? You'll notice we can no longer access the TV for anything new to say from Henry. That is pretty ominous. Just a bunch of cheap novels, nothing interesting here. I wonder if he has one of Harry's novels that he used to write. Does he have a Harry Mason original in that bookshelf among all those books? This is South Ashfield Heights. Is there something screwing up with this whole apartment building? Yeah, you think, Henry, you think regular apartment buildings have portals or dimensions? They have gateways to other dimensional realms. You can just go into a hole in any old apartment building and come out on the astral plane. Come on, Henry. Of course there's something wrong with the whole damn building. You've seen it. Even Braintree told you. Got this photo from the superintendent, but there's nothing very interesting about it. So he's lost interest in it at this point. Photos of me when I was a kid and when I graduated, not very interesting. What's this? Looks like a crack from when that ghost first came out of our apartment in the prologue, right? Burner won't go on. The water works, but I've got nothing to wash. How about your hands? You've been digging in some weird stuff throughout this whole section. There's some kind of strange paper stuck in here. Will you take it? Yes. Got the succubus talisman. Card with some kind of frightening demon on it. Yeah, she'll suck you. You'll notice there the handprint is faint. That means he did not get the job done. There's still hope for Eileen. He hasn't gotten to her yet. I don't think I can protect myself. He's truly insane. I can't hold on any longer. His power can't be measured. I was so scared today that I sealed off the back of the storage room. I wonder if Eileen Galvin is okay. She has no idea what's going on. But she's in danger nevertheless. July 13. I really loved this game's story when it first came out. Trying to piece together this mystery. It really was like a murder mystery. It's a very different type of... Not even just Silent Hill game, but survival horror game we had seen up until this point. It's just a shame that with Resident Evil 4 making so many great changes, so many big changes, and being so popular, one of the best-selling games of all time, up until that point, the best-selling Resident Evil game of all time, that it overshadowed this game. And it's also a shame that this game didn't have a longer development period. It came out pretty soon after Silent Hill 2, because Silent Hill 3, because I believe Silent Hill 3 was 2003, right? And this was 2005. So it barely had a development period of like 2 years. The hell? Someone just knock? We hearing things? Or is that Henry's footsteps? These shoes, are they really mine? You said you bought them in Silent Hill, Henry. Unless you're just lying about that, or else you don't remember where you got them. Blood. It's stained with blood. It smells horrible. Just like that water-filled room under a cylindrical prison. We saw that already, didn't we? I don't need to use that now. Can't get any water from here, but I think the kitchen faucet still works. The hole is blocked. Yeah, it's sealed for good. And you can see there's the halo of the sun. You can see the clear outline of the pattern. So now we gotta find another alternative. This is where some people get messed up when they're first playing this game. They get a bit lost because they don't realize you have to use a certain item to open up a new hole so you can escape. And it's not in this wall. It's inside here. In the restroom. No, not the restroom, the laundry room. It's some kind of stain. Come to think of it, it also looks like an emo demon. It does. You can clearly see the horns and the sharp chin. It actually does look like a demon. So what you gotta do is you gotta use the succubus card. Card with some kind of frightening demon on it. Use the succubus talisman. There you go. What the hell? After he did the ritual of the Holy Assumption, other worlds began to force their way into his universe and it began to swirl horribly. But his universe is different than ours. It has limits. And in the limits of that universe, he rules as a king. And in the deepest part of his kingdom is his mother. So he has complete control over this place, but it's a limited sort of place. It's not actually unlimited like our universe. You can technically go around in a huge circle in that world. And we have 4 slots. Watchfulness is inscribed in the depression. I remember how much it bugged one Silent Hill streamer on YouTube that James and Henry kept using that word depression instead of just saying hole. Chaos is inscribed into the depression. Got temptation. And we got source. So we gotta go get those 4 plaques that we got, the 4 placards. We're gonna open up that hole and then we're actually gonna save for the night. Because goddamn, my throat is actually starting to go. And like I said, it's allergies, so it's not something that can be solved just with water. It's actually need some medication. Plus, we've been playing almost 2 hours because I believe the first section before I took a break was 40 minutes, and now it's been an hour, so we're actually close to 2 hours. I told you this was the longest section of the game. Okay, so you can easily make out the pattern. So let's put the creepy eye there. The Kirby eye. It looks like Kirby's ultimate enemy from one of his games. Temptation, which is a woman. Source, which is a forest. A tree. I think it shows a baby too. And then finally chaos, which doesn't really make sense, but you can kind of tie it into one of the murders once you see the theme of it. Because Richard gave us chaos, and he's basically a very chaotic guy. And there we go. We have a brand new hole, and this one is perfectly cut, perfectly circular. But we're not going to go in there just yet. We're going to save that for next time. Because it is also getting very late or early in the morning, depending on your point of view. So we're going to save for the last time tonight. Because then I have to put this video together. $5:15. We're up from 4:35, so yeah, that took quite a while. And they don't count cutscenes either. Plus, we save multiple times. This door, fun fact, this door was actually in Silent Hill Downpour too. There was a whole area referencing this place and this game. It was a neat touch from the developers, to acknowledge one of the original Team Silent efforts. One of the original games. That was a neat idea on their part, and they captured the look of it perfectly too. It really did look like the door from Room 302. Alright, so that is Silent Hill 4 for now. We got far. We completed Apartment World. Normally I'd probably try to go and also do the next section, which is actually the hospital. But that might be a good 45 minutes, which I do not want to add onto the video here. So I think we're going to cut it short here, and we'll do the hospital section next time, because it does take quite a bit of time to navigate those rooms. The hospital is not as big as it was in the other 3 games, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, and Silent Hill 3, but it is a neat little section that contains some of the weirdest stuff you've ever seen, not just in the game, but in the whole series in general. Some of the weirdest stuff you'll ever see in Silent Hill, so I definitely want to give it its proper time and place. So next time when we come back, we'll head to the hospital and see what's up there. We'll check on Eileen, see if she's alright, and we'll continue on with the game. Oh yeah, we gotta put these keys away too. We no longer need those keys. You'll notice stuff is starting to stop working in the apartment building. First it was the TV. Eventually the fan will stop working, and at that point you are gonna lose the ability to regenerate your health here. So that's why I said we need to accumulate as much health as possible. How much did we end up getting? Let's see, we have 3 health drinks, 2 med kits. Not a great amount, but we are going to pick up more in the hospital, and we can come back and stash it in the box. Because I think it's not until you rescue Eileen that it stops working completely. So we have some time to accumulate a few more health items in there before that happens. Especially, I think we get an ampule in one room at the hospital, which definitely helps a lot. That restores a lot of health, and I think it makes you temporarily invincible for a few short seconds. So that's a very useful item to have, but we will cover that next time. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. I will see you again next time on Silent Hill 4, The Room, on the good old-fashioned PS2. See you later.